I have a question for you.
Okay.
If a movie about your life ended tomorrow.
A movie about my life ended tomorrow. Okay.
Would the lead of your film have any regrets?
From West Philly to Hollywood, Nafessa Williams has always defied expectations. From aspiring lawyer to powerful performer, she transformed ambition into artistry and never looked back. She broke barriers as television's first Black lesbian superhero in Black Lightning. She explored the depths of love and loyalty as Robyn Crawford in Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. Now, she commands the screen as the ambitious TV producer Cameron Cook in Disney Plus's Rivals, navigating the cutthroat world of 1980s British television. Actress, entrepreneur, philanthropist. This is Nafessa Williams. This is a conversation with a woman writing her own script. And trust us, it's one hell of a movie. This is the Rodriguez Project.
A movie about my life ended tomorrow. Okay.
Would the lead of your film have any regrets?
No. To know me is to know. I always say, like, if I die today or tomorrow, y'all gonna be like, ooh, she went out trying. Like, I feel like I can truly say that I'm doing the things that I want to do, that I'm not anywhere that I don't want to be, whether it be a job or a relationship, and that I really went for it or I'm going for it.
How long have you felt like that?
Ooh, okay. It's so funny because turning 39, right? I was like, and there's still some anxiety that comes with like getting older and, I should be doing this at this timeline, or, I shouldn't be doing that. And I always say, I'm just really grateful for how I've been spending my time and that I'm using it wisely. Another friend, she turned 40 a couple of years ago. And I was like, damn, I'm proud of you for what you did with these 40 years. Like, you didn't waste your time. Like, yes, there's more we want to do. Yes, there's things we wish would be happening sooner. But overall, like, you went for it. You're still going for it. And you can say that you used it wisely and that you see success in your life. So I remember telling her that. And then again, with me approaching my birthday, being like, okay, if this was to end today or tomorrow, like, you did a lot of stuff that really scared you, that but there's still so much more to do. So
Of course, yeah. It's like there's all of the different projects you want to do in the future and all that.
Exactly.
It's great if it comes to fruition.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing that I've really been harping on lately is about really being happy with where you are. And I think for a long time I wasn't. I remember anytime I'd be working on something that I felt was substantial, I would be like, well, what if something happened to me and I didn't get to deliver this to the world? I'll feel like I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But I think once you make that shift and then you are following your dreams and putting in the amount of effort that it actually takes, and you're happy with that, then I think that's where like the lack of regret comes.
That part. And also too, knowing like, okay, I know there's much more that I want to do, but not getting caught up. And I've been really trying to practice. I read The Power of the Now. Like, I live by it, the audiobook, Eckhart Tolle. And if we're really present and we really take inventory of everything that we've been doing or we've done up to this point, it's just like we got to find contentment, because I don't want to be always trying to chase to what's next. And you drive yourself crazy trying to get to the next. And when we really sit and take the inventory and be like, oh, wow, like, I am really doing this. But it takes you being in the moment and finding somewhat of contentment, not being comfortable, but being content with like, okay, like, I'm seeing the fruits of my labor. I'm seeing the hard work paying off, and kind of giving ourselves more credit than what we do, because we can be so hard on ourselves and so trying to get to the next, that there's so much in front of us that we've done that we're not even like paying attention to.
Yeah. It's very easy to get caught up, especially when I think just starting out.
Yeah.
Because you've been in the game for the acting game for a minute.
Yeah.
And like, so if we go before even the acting game
right
was brought into your world, if you were to start like the opening image of your film, a film about your life, right? In Philly, speaking of, we got the Philly.
Oh yeah, you see us.
Yeah, right. I'll be sporting it too.
Yeah. For the whole year.
Wow. That's huge. So if we're in Philly, what's going on? What is that like? Maybe the childhood. If we're opening up in your
It would
childhood?
be so lit. It would be like mid 80s. It would be like hip hop is taking off like in the city in Philly. It would be just like really cool visuals of the hood, of hunger, of I remember being really little too and having these visions of me being here. And I would escape through the TV and I would watch The Cosby Show. I would see a different world. I would see a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and I would be like, wait, I look like her. How did I not land there? Like, wait, how did I get here? But Philly was fun. It taught me a lot. It gave me my hustle. But again, TV was an escape for me to see that this is where I was going to be. So I'm just really grateful. It's so funny for TV because it was through TV that let me see like what I wanted in life.
So being a kid, you knew that?
I knew.
Wow.
I knew from watching TV. Like I don't know, I was fascinated with like TV and behind the scenes of TV, but I never really thought I could get there. And in hindsight, I was like, I'm gonna be a lawyer, but Claire Huxtable. I tell this story all the time because it's so on point. Like Claire Huxtable was a lawyer. So I was like, oh, I remember her being like the first Black woman on TV who was beautiful and brown, but super independent. Like she was married, but she also had her own and she was super smart and she could hold the family and the house down, but she was about her business. So I was so inspired by just the visual of her that I wanted to be what I thought, she was in life, which was a lawyer. And then I tried it, Mark, and I was like, this isn't it.
How did you try it? You went to college for it?
I went to college. I went to HBCU, Delaware State University, and then ended up transferring to Westchester University. I was like, I'm gonna be a lawyer. And I got out. I worked at the DA's office in the homicide unit. And I mean, sitting in on homicide trials, and it was exciting, but I realized the only exciting part was the courtroom. And then it was like research, and it was just a lot of this stuff that I was like, I could do that. I could do the courtroom stuff on like TV.
Yeah.
And that's when I was just like, I really had an aha moment. I was like, you could go for being an actor, and I know it's gonna be hard, and it might take you 20 years, and you're gonna have to accept the rejection, or you could do this and not be happy. And I just remember, getting fired from a job from going on an audition, and that was in 2008, and I never looked back.
What was the job that you got fired from?
I was working at a law firm. It was called Martin Banks. It actually still is called Martin. It's Martin Law. It used to be Martin Banks, but I think it's like Martin Law now. So yeah, They fired me.
And there is a level of acting, I guess, in the courtroom.
In the courtroom, right?
So at least you would have like scratched the itch a little bit.
Exactly.
But wow. So do you ever think about if you wouldn't have got fired, what could have happened?
I still would have left. I just think they pushed me sooner than what I would have like voluntarily went on my own, because I was loyal and I was like, they hired me before I even graduated college. But I think I was already starting to like dabble in it, like going on auditions and local modeling in Philly, hair, beauty. But when they fired me, that was the push. And then every day I just was commuting back and forth from Philly to New York to go on auditions and learn the game and get in acting class. And yeah, they pushed me out the door, literally.
Yeah, but I also believe no coincidences like that.
Oh, for sure.
That was divine timing and the push that you needed.
Yeah.
Because that was your first place that you moved to. It was New York, right? You eventually moved to New York.
Yep, from Philly to New York. And I always say when they fired me, that was the first day of the rest of my life. Because something switched and I was like, all right, it might take you 20 years. Are you going to be ready for that? And I remember promising myself, like, whatever all the way is, that's what I'm about to do.
So you knew that you were okay with it taking 20 years? Did a part of you think that you were going to make it quicker? Or did you have...
No, I did not. It happened a lot sooner than what I was prepared for. Because I was like, it might take 20 years. And I had to have that real conversation with myself. But I was for it. But it only took like less than 2 full years
to get like your first break?
For me to get, I booked One Life to Live. And it was first it was for 3 episodes, and they called me back and hired me as a series regular. But they made me audition for the series regular again, which I was like, okay. But I did it. I was super hungry, and I booked it. And that was only like, that was less than 2 years into it. So that little bit of hope is what carried me. And I was like, if all I needed was like one person to tell me yes. And I was like, all right, God, kind of let me know if I'm on the right path here. And when that first casting director told me yes, I was like, I can get other people to tell me yes. Because all you need is like, work begets work. This job is going to lead to the next one. So that's what kind of like, I really thought I made it then.
See, you're just advanced though. Because I think most people, and maybe this is just from my own experience.
Okay.
In my life was that I was like, watch I was cocky and confident, watch what I can do. Right. So I think your approach is so much better. I wish, because everybody wants things quick.
Yeah.
But if you have the mindset that, hey, even if it takes me 2 decades, that is so important because it takes the pressure off.
Takes the pressure.
And if you have, because you're not living a happy, like you need some pressure obviously to become who you need to be. But if there's all this additional pressure that you need to make it quick, then you're even if you had that break, how long were you on the show for?
So then I booked it and it got canceled.
And it's supposed to be a year contract or like
it was supposed to be 4 years. I was like, I made it. You couldn't tell me anything. But then it gets canceled like 4 or 5 months into my contract.
But if you weren't wise to know that it could take you 2 decades,
right,
then that would have been so much pressure. I mean, I'm sure it was devastating.
Oh my God, I was depressed for a month.
Yeah. So it's like, being devastated from losing that.
Yeah.
But that's also the beginner's luck that you needed to then hold you through, like you said.
To give me that stamina and that endurance to say, like, if this happened, okay. It took me a month to get out the bed, and then I came to LA, and I was
rightfully
like,
so. Like that's
I mean, because I thought it was for 4 years, and that was also my first experience with understanding the industry and how quick things can change. Nothing is guaranteed even if you sign a contract. Yeah, like they replaced us with like a cooking show. It was absolutely nothing I could have done. So that prepared me to know that I can expect that too at any given moment. Like nothing is done until it's literally on screen. Even if you shoot it, I don't claim it as mine because it may not make it out of the editing bay. Yeah. So it's not until you see it on screen that I can be like, hey, I got this coming out.
Yeah. So you get that role and you're in New York, because as we're talking about like opening up this film. Yeah. And then so like LA was always the goal initially, but then New York was closer, right? Yep. So what happens after New York?
So after New York, I was in bed. I was stressed for like a month. I couldn't believe it. And then I remember telling a friend like, hey, can I like come stay with you for like a month? I want to try LA out. Because the thing for me with LA, I wanted to come to LA with something on my resume. I wanted everybody out here to see that I at least have experience. I know set etiquette. I know the long hours. I'm prepared with these soap opera lines. I could do it. So that's what gave me the confidence to come, having the soap opera on my resume. And I just came and I was like, I'm going to try it for a month and we'll see what happens. And then I ended up booking like 2 jobs within that month. They were commercials. It was on the smaller side, but it was enough, again, that glimmer of hope that I needed to be like, okay, they see me and I'm going to stay. And then I never left.
So when you came out to visit
I came out to visit for the month. I booked those 2 jobs and I was like, I'm staying. And I called my boyfriend at the time and I was like, I'm not coming back. Meet me here if you want to meet me here.
Did he meet you here?
He did. Wow. He did. And I was like, I'm not coming back because I don't know. I felt like at that point it was nothing left for me in New York. My spirit knew that it was time to come to LA.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, what year was that?
That was 2011.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So and LA looked so much different.
Oh my God, right?
In 2011. Yeah. And that was like prime time, like pilot season.
Oh, pilot season. Yeah, that was the LA that we came into it knowing as actors.
Wow. So, and for those watching, we met initially in acting class. Yes. And I don't know if you know this, that you're the reason why I went to the acting class.
I think you did tell me this before.
Yeah. So, and Aaron's been life changer for me, like he is for so many people.
For me too.
How did you meet Aaron, or how did you even?
I found out about Aaron because Will Smith was the inspiration for me. And I was like, who does Will study with in LA? Because I always took this craft really serious. I always studied, even in New York. And I was like, his coach is accessible. I could like walk up to his coach and like work with his coach. And I remember I couldn't do it when I first got to LA because I was like, I had to
$300.
I had to figure my funds out. Yeah. But I remember I came and audited and I sat in the class and he just was so real and so raw. And he reminded me of like the energy that I know from back home. Like, don't blow smoke up me. Yeah. Tell me what I need to hear. Be honest. And I got that from him. And obviously just his experience with Will and being in the business and, you know, the experience that he has. I was there for, when did I start? 2012, and I may have left like 2016.
Wow, so you found it pretty recently, like after you moved.
I wasn't playing around when I got here. See? I hit the. They shouldn't have.
You gotta write a book. Your book needs.
They should not have let me off the plane. I was very serious when I got here.
Miss, you're supposed to wait till everybody gets off the plane.
1, 2. I'm moving on 2.
Talk about false start.
I'm moving on too.
Yeah.
So that was the energy, and Aaron helped so much, like on my journey. And I was in class every single Thursday. And when I would book things, I would go and do my thing, but I came back. And until Black Lightning took me from LA is when I stopped taking classes every single week in studio.
Dedicated to the craft.
Shout out to Aaron Spicer. He was very instrumental.
Yeah. For Aaron, for me, 'cause I had did you try to take a couple classes elsewhere before you went in 2012 to him, or no?
I think I've tried a couple classes, but when I tried his, like,
It clicked.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I didn't go anywhere else. Everybody be like, come on. I'm like, I'm good. I'm at Aaron's.
Yeah, especially like managers and agents trying to tell you, like, oh, let's try something different, see if that works. It's like, this class makes me the best version of myself and one of the best acting coaches in the world. Is because he won't tell you that you're great if you're not great. And he's tells the truth.
Yeah.
But for me, I had gone elsewhere for years. I moved to LA in 2005. But I didn't find.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm turning 40 this year. Also hitting my 20 years in LA.
Wow. I don't know if I knew you came here in 2005. You came right after high school.
Early, yeah. Yeah, I was going to go get a bachelor's in fine arts in Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
My great uncle taught ballet there.
Okay.
And so I was like, plus at that time, it was like, go to college. You need to go to college. And then I was like, I'm going to go to the sunshine instead. So I dipped out. But I had a lot of growing up to do. So when I finally was ready, which is like his slogan too, which is funny, when you're ready to do what you came here for.
When you're ready to do what you came here for.
Yeah. But I had heard that you swore by it and went to the class. And I actually came on a different day. He wasn't teaching. And usually, so I was like, wait a second, wrong day. So I came back the next day.
Damn.
Within the first 10 minutes, his opening monologue, I was like,
you knew.
Sign me up. This is it.
And also, too, it was a community of actors, too. So no one can kind of pull me. It was like my family.
Yeah.
Nobody can pull me from that and have me try another class. Because one time, man, I'm pretty loyal. I'm there. And just the journey of us all being together in class week in and week out, like, is a community and a camaraderie that inspires you to keep going. Like, you actually need it. You need to just exchange the whether it be issues or motivation or agents. Like, we've shared everything, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's that constant reinforcement that you're in the right place and everything.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we have a photo.
Yeah. Oh my God. What is
the arrow, right?
Oh, we together. Of course we do. Oh my God! Look at this.
This is from
picture.
2015. This is the first studio too. Yeah. 2015, this is the studio that, I think you were the first person when I walked in, you were a key student that day. Maybe not the first day, when I came back the next day.
We totally just put up a scene.
We did. and I got like demolished in it.
Really?
I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if I think it was mostly me.
Were we in the scene together?
Yeah, that was the only scene we did. We did Breaking News, was like an old 80s piece or something. And
wow.
And this was one of the I think we brought it back and killed it or something after this, because
I kind of remember coming back.
If I just got my ass kicked in the scene and I came back like that.
Wow, I could cry.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this was one of the biggest lessons I learned in this was Aaron, we were doing a scene and I was doing it incorrectly. And the reason was, he had asked me a question, what's your objective, blah, blah, blah. And I told him what it was.
Wow.
And my favorite note I ever got from Aaron was in the scene. He said, wait a second, so you actually believe what the writer wrote? Meaning, sometimes you say, I love you to someone, but you don't necessarily love them. You might say, I love you, but deep down inside, the subtext is, I don't want to upset you and I'm actually leaving you.
Right.
But I don't think that was the case in the scene. But the writer's going to write what the writer's going to write, but the subtext is what it really is about.
It's up to us.
Yeah, to find out what do you actually mean by the words that you're saying. So
remember he would say, throw it away. Throw all of that, all those actions, throw it away.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Black line them.
Put a black line.
Yeah. But
wow, 10 years ago. Wow, that's awesome.
A lot of life since then.
A lot of life since then. We kind of look like babies too.
Yeah, we do.
When you think you're not aging until you see a picture from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I love that. You have that. You got to send that to me.
I will. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Good time.
We look hungry.
Yeah. I think I actually was hungry.
We look hungry.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's what I love about like the people that are dedicated to the craft part of it too, because you can get busy working and get lost in the business of the game.
Right.
But like the people that we surround ourselves with, or that were in class and like really dedicated to the craft, and the community that was built there is just, you know, they came here for the right reasons, or they want to do it for the right reasons. And I think that's what gives you the longevity, like your career, as we get into the fun and games like of your life, right? Like, yeah, because like from that moment, so some of the wins that you've had started with soap opera in New York, then you come here, you got the commercials and everything too. When do you, so if this was 2015, this was right before a couple of like big breaks. Yeah. So tell me about some of the sets and some of the projects that like that if you could go back and relive, what would they look like?
Oh man. Okay, I'll start with Burning Sands. I'll always go back and relive that. That was at a place in my career where I was like, okay, I understood acting fully. Yeah. Like I felt confident walking on that set. But I would have to go back. We'll come back to Burning Sands, but I got to go back to just the circuit, the independent circuit that I was on, from Streets to Brotherly Love to Man in 3B to these movies. And I remember being like, Aaron, should I do these independent movies? I don't really know where they're going to go. And he was like, are you uncomfortable? Is anything that's against your moral or ethic code? And I was like, no, it's not. I'm comfortable. And he was like, who cares? I was like, what if it's not good? And what if the writer isn't good? And what if it doesn't turn out? He was like, that's none of your business. Your business is what you practice in here and what you go on set to do. So I was like, okay, bet. Okay, I'm gonna work, because I mean, it was paying something, and the most paid that I got was the experience, the etiquette. So by the time I got to Burning Sands, I was able to go on set and feel comfortable and understand it and be confident.
And that was a Sundance piece too, right?
That was a Sundance piece, but huge. I really didn't know that that's what I was signing up for. I was just like, I just needed to work. I needed to pay my rent. And I was like, this script looks good. Yep, it's good enough. Aaron told me to just get all the practice and work as long as I'm comfortable. And Burning Sands did something for me just like personally and professionally that changed my life. And it was like really great. But I did not know we were going to Sundance, of course.
What do you think? Was it the fact that it went to Sundance, or what was it that really that catapulted you or changed you for the better?
It was the script. It was the character. It was the director, Gerard McMurray.
Because he was part of what's his name's camp, right? He was part of.
He's friends with Ryan Coogler.
So you kind of know you're in good hands.
Yeah, you know you're safe. Reggie Hutland. Like I was getting into people who had more experience in the industry. Who were, I mean, Reggie's a legend. He did House Party and everything else that we can remember.
And then Trevor Jackson was in.
Trevor Jackson. It was just Imani, who I was in class with, who we were in class with. Everybody from Soraya to just everybody who worked on that project is doing really well and working right now. So it kind of catapulted all of our careers. But yeah, Gerard, he just gave a sense of freedom and just a safe space as an actor. Like I didn't feel like I was acting. I just felt like I was freely just able to come on. He allowed me to bring ideas as far as my hair and my nails, and I felt creatively involved. That was the first time I was like, oh, you gave me some creative input. Like, okay, some, you know.
It made the piece better. I think that's the ultimate collaboration.
It did. And yeah, from there, like things took off after Burning Sands, and
how was Sundance for you?
You know, it was like a dream. If I could go back and do anything else too, Burning Sands at Sundance.
Was that your only time being a Sundance?
That was the only time.
You never been back?
I had never been. I know, because I always said like I want to go when I have a purpose. Like I want to go when I have a film. And I remember saying that a couple years before Burning Sands went, and I had no clue that was going to be the year. Like it was like a shock. But that experience was really good to, again, just that camaraderie of actors and spending that time and creating those memories and doing Sundance in a way where your film is premiering. And then it's like being received well. And I think that was all of our first time seeing it. And it was a big moment. Yeah,
Sundance, I think, and I've heard that it might get moved. It's getting too big for Park City. It might be
really?
Going to Colorado. I hope that it's not the case, but the first time Sundance changed my life. It was the first time I ever sold a film was by going to Sundance. But I did a short film called Elevated Remedies, and it was the first time I produced something that I acted in, and then my brother-in-law produced and acted in it, and then our other business partner wrote and directed it and produced it. So it was us three coming together to make something, and that's why I really urge young actors to don't just wait for the job, to like go after it or build something of your own, especially in this digital age.
Yeah.
But we won this contest that sent us to Sundance for the project. and they put us up, and the camaraderie that happens on that street, because everybody's like everybody's like trauma bonded by they're like snowed in. So you're like next to somebody, and you're like, next thing you know, you're like next to somebody that like is like some game changer, or that you don't even know is an investor. You don't even know who's
there. Yeah, you have no clue.
And one of the first people we met, we're like on the dance floor, you know, everybody's getting their groove on, and we're like, oh, so what are you doing? Oh, we have like a $50 million budget, and they were looking for, you know,
looking to get money out. Hey,
I'm like, why have I never been here?
Yeah.
And then I went the next like 4 years.
Oh, good.
And that was the first. So being on there and being around great people, but also being prepared, having a screenplay written with a deck, and being able to present it to somebody.
They're looking to spend money.
Yeah.
They're looking to spend money.
Going where those people are. And obviously with the digital age, you can be around a lot of other people and get those other places. But Sundance, I think, even before you have a project there, I hope more people go to things like that. To
I've never thought about it from that networking perspective, but you might get me
there. Yeah. Plus it's a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so from Burning Sands, when it premiered, I think it was where was that premiere at? Was it in West Hollywood or something? Was that?
It was like Brentwood.
Was it Brentwood? Yeah.
You came to the Burning Sands premiere?
Yeah, I came to the Burning Sands premiere. Yeah, no problem. But that was one of the first times I saw you in front of an audience speaking. And I think everybody goes and says a couple words, but that was one of the times that I saw like, wow, she's like a superstar. Because it wasn't just, you're a great actor. And I knew that because of just seeing you in class and knew that you could carry your own. But now getting opportunities and coming on and speaking to a crowd and actually having something profound to say.
Wow,
and really caring. Absolutely. And that was one of those moments. And then that's why like the next things that happened, there was no like surprise to me based on like the next roles that you started booking. So Burning Sands happens, and now we're like, okay, we got something here.
Yeah.
We did the Meek Mill movie Streets.
Yeah.
That was before then?
That was before that. Yeah. We filmed that in 2010 and that aired on BET.
So that was before 2012. You moved here?
I filmed it before I moved here.
Wow.
Filmed it
in Philly?
Filmed it before I even moved officially to New York. I was still like living in Philly. Yeah, we filmed that in 2010. That premiered 2012. Fast forward to Burning Sands 2016. And so Burning Sands, we filmed it in 2016, but it premiered at Sundance January. It's January normally, right?
Yeah.
January 2017. And then I auditioned for Black Lightning in February 17.
Wow.
So a month after Burning Sands premiered at Sundance, I booked Black Lightning.
But before that.
Did
you book anything else?
Yes.
That's all I want to talk about.
You know this job.
This moment.
This moment.
So I remember when this job came out, and like
take me back.
They brought three people on, right?
Yep.
As new series regulars.
Residents.
Yeah.
But we were just recurring at the time with one of us or two of us possibly becoming series regular.
But you're starting to build that momentum. Then you get booked for this. You're like,
yeah. So yes, so you're right. It went Burning Sands and then Code Black.
Yeah, and so how did Code Black like change your life? Was it a dream come true initially?
Code Black was like the dream come true, because it was like, okay, this isn't independent. This is like, network TV. This is like a respected procedural. Like this is the real. This was like the big league, I felt like, to me at the time. And to get that experience and to be on set and to be working with a respected network, it was ABC or CBS. So that was like next level for me, but it was not an easy job.
How so? Because of?
I was playing a medical student, and I felt like a real life medical student.
Yeah, because you have to learn it.
You have to learn the jargon, and you have to say it with conviction. I'm going to bed like subcutaneous. What does subcutaneous mean? I will not. It's like the fat. I don't even want to try to explain it because I threw it away when I was done. But it's something underneath the skin, and it's not my world.
Sub under, right?
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
It wasn't easy. I was like, I gotta get on this set and say these lines with conviction and be comfortable, like as if I say it every day.
And after like a few years of doing that, or after probably the first season or second season, then you probably used to it.
You coasting.
But you're thrown into the gauntlet.
I was thrown into it. I was thrown into it.
Do you feel like you were doing a good job on it?
I was okay. It wasn't my best work. I was new to being on like a big set, a big production. I was still learning everything out. I remember like one of the actors, we're like at Crafty, and I'm the girl that's like, oh, hey, they're calling us for set. And then like I get to set and nobody told me it was time to go to set, but it's nobody's job to tell you it's time to go to set. But so these are the things that I had to like learn, like don't drift too far away from set. Okay, you messed up by being at Crafty too long. Nobody could find you. Like these are things that you have to have. You just learn on your own from being like on set. It's set etiquette. Like nobody can teach you that. So that was like the school of the hard knocks. Like I had to figure it out, and I had to figure it out fast. And also too, just the pressure of the character. Like the ambulance is bringing this patient in, and they're either going to live or they're going to die. Both scenarios are high stakes, and it's just pressure as an actor who's playing a doctor. Like the doctor is stressed out at all times, and you got to like control the stress. And I was like, this is like, I didn't love it. I did not love it.
I can't imagine like trying to figure out a Rubik's Cube while you're acting, and the pressure of like keeping your job or like.
So you're like acting, right? But then you're also with the pressure of. And then you put instruments into it and you do those actions. You know, it's a different ballgame when you're like, oh, I know these lines. And it's like, oh, yeah, try the lines while you're doing hair, or try the lines while you're washing.
Right.
You know, when you're moving, that's when you really know where you are with it and how well it's in your body and you're embodying it.
Especially like in the medical profession, like people go to school for a decade for that. And you're trying
they have nurses and doctors on set, and they're like, yeah, this is how you say it. And it's like, oh, great. Y'all want me to figure this out in like a couple hours. Okay. Probably should have called me a little while ago. Give me some more time. But it was pressure. But Marcia Gay Harden was like my favorite thing about that show. She was so supportive, and she carried me some days when I was just like, this is like a lot of pressure.
Was she one of the other?
Yeah, she was the lead. The lead. Yeah. Gotcha. So I love Marcia with everything in me, because she really was a friend. She was supportive. She had my back. Like she kind of showed me the ropes as much as possible. I only ended up doing like 4 episodes. And they weren't going to keep all 3 of us. And then I think telling us that pressure too.
It's extra, yeah.
It's like, okay, so I'm just here auditioning for weeks. It's a big old audition.
The longest audition ever.
The longest audition ever. So you got that pressure, and you're like, okay, so now you're in your head, and this is good for people to hear, because I wasn't confident on that job. I was just trying to figure it out. And although I had like this confidence on set of Burning Sands, like this was like a new character, new world, playing a doctor essentially. So I got let go of that one.
Yeah. So
and I was
so how? So the season ends, or you guys shoot it?
No,
and then
they kind of told us
like,
we were recurring, right? And they were like, we're gonna keep 2.
Right, and so they were still writing the season while.
Oh yeah, they were still writing it.
Right. So how do you find out? Is it like
I got called into my trailer? Told me in my trailer, and then gonna say, okay, we need you back on set in 10 minutes. And I was like, okay. So again, that's the game. It's nothing personal.
Yeah.
It's just things that only you can learn on your own by being on set.
Yeah. When you say nothing personal, did it feel personal when it happened? Or how did that moment feel to you?
No, I don't think that it felt. I wouldn't say that it felt personal, but at that time, I mean, I wish I could have gone for it being maybe after work and not before.
Yeah.
Maybe a little sensitivity around when I was told. But other than that, I'm like, okay, I'm learning the game. This is how it go. And I cried in my trailer, and I got it together, and I went out on set, and I did my job. And you know, when we hear action, everything else.
Yeah, how much longer did you have to work on that project after they said that you're being let go?
Not long. I think that was my last episode. So maybe like a couple more days of work, if that. I don't think that was my last day.
Yeah. And so for a lot of people, for people to hear this and to understand, like as the momentum you're building, and then you get this big break, and you're hoping that this is just a next thing that you're gonna thrive at, and then seeing like I didn't realize how difficult it was for you, and like the fact that you didn't love it. Makes so much sense though, but also from like a career standpoint. So now you have maybe the biggest break of your life at that point. Would that be right, or would you say
for sure?
Yeah. So then, what happens when you go back to your spot in Burbank?
Oh man, that was hard, Mark. That was hard. I thought I made it, and I thought I had a job, and I was hoping to go from recurring to series regular, which is every actor's dream when we first move here. So I was like, God, why would you give it to me again? Like with the soap opera, why'd you give it to me if you was going to take it from me that quick?
And And he said, I got you.
But you know what? After that, I was like, okay, you know what you're doing. Like, that wasn't for you. Okay. And I mean, I always try to find the silver lining. And, you know, I'm the kind of person that if it was for me, I would have it.
Yeah.
So let it go and focus on the next thing. So I was auditioning like crazy. I was a pilot one day. I was a nurse another day. I was a teen mom another day. I was everybody up. I was all kind of characters. And I remember my friend Key was at my house and I was like, I'm done. I was so exhausted, Mark, from auditioning. I was up to doing like 3 and 4 auditions a day. Like, I can't even count how many throughout the week. And I was just exhausted. And I was just like, the game don't love me. Hollywood don't love me. Like, I have a degree. Like, why am I doing this to myself? And I literally like broke down crying. Like, I'm done. I'm exhausted. And I don't know if I want to do this anymore. This is stupid.
Yeah.
Just go use your degree.
And that's 2014?
2016, 17, going into, because Burning Sands had premiered, but I was still I was still auditioning. Rent needed to be paid. Like, I needed a job.
Yeah.
And the next day, after me breaking down, like, I was like, I'm done. And the next day I got the call for Black Lightning.
Wow.
The very, like, literally, like, I can't make this up. I'll never forget. That night was a Thursday night that I broke down. I got the call for the audition on a Friday, and Monday was the day I went in for it. I'll never forget.
Wow. And what was the audition process for Black Lightning? Who casted it?
Vicky Thomas.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you go in on Monday.
I go in on Monday. I read with Vicky.
Did you like know like what?
I did not know to the extent of what it was. I just knew that Mara and Salima Kill were attached, and I've been wanting to work with them since before I got here. I didn't really need to know anything else. They didn't tell us until like the second audition or the chemistry read that it was based on a comic book.
Oh, okay.
So I saw their names and I was like, send it to me. I'm good.
Yeah. Even though you felt like the day before that you were done.
Oh, I was done. I was like, I'm out of here.
And so do you think if you didn't see their names on there, you would have still auditioned for it?
I say I was done, but I don't know if I was done.
Well, yeah, maybe it was just you needed a break.
I needed a moment. I think maybe I just needed to like let that out. I can't say because that didn't happen that way. So I really can't answer that.
Because I think that's the thing about loving this game, but also having a strong business sense. And sometimes you just need a break. Sometimes we do need to have that release and say like.
The audition sides were good though. The character was good. Like I remember reading the character and being like, this is good. So maybe I would have based off of like, the good material that was sent to me.
Yeah, the pilot was dope.
The pilot. I remember being like, oh yeah, I want to be her.
Yeah. And so you go in on Monday. So how many auditions? Like what did that process?
So I had my first audition and I was like, okay, I mean, I feel like it went good. And at this point, like I'm starting to understand the art of auditioning too, because I'm going out so much and I'm building my confidence.
That's a whole game of its.
It's a whole. We could write a whole book on just auditioning itself. Mm-hmm. The focus that it takes. I tell people it's focus.
And that's the thing is I just recently started auditioning again.
Yeah.
I hate auditioning.
Well, here's the thing too. It's different now because I went in the room for Black Lightning, so I don't know that I can speak so much. Well, I guess now we can because we've been doing self-tapes for a while, but this was like in-person audition where you're seeing the people and you got one shot. Yeah. And you got one shot unless they ask you to do it again. So that was a different time compared to what we're doing now. So I auditioned. I thought it went good and I didn't hear anything for like a couple weeks. So I was just like, okay, like 2 weeks had gone by and then they called for a chemistry read. So apparently I went from the first audition straight to a chemistry read because I'm like waiting for the call back.
Yeah, but I started saying like, all right, fine.
I was like, all right, it's okay. Let me throw it away. Throw it away. Focus on the next one. And then I got the call for the chemistry read and I kind of like, I felt it. And I think it was also too just like my hunger and I always say when you get so low and you have like a breakdown like that, only thing to do is to go up.
Yeah.
So
that's the best part of hitting the ground.
Get excited when you hit the bottom, like celebrate when you hit the bottom because you can only go up, right? The chemistry was really, really good. I remember reading with a couple people and I remember being in the room with China
Was she already casted, or was it they just?
No, we were chemistry reading together. Yeah, we were reading together. From what I know, we were reading together. So it was like 2 auditions. So it was a chemistry read for the producers and the writers. But then it was like we came back a couple hours later, which is like, oh my God, for like all of the execs at CW. And it was probably at least 20 people in the room. So to keep that focus, and all the other girls are in the hallway. I remember people like trying to talk to me, and I was like, not right now. Like, and that's a thing. If we ever go back to in-room, auditions, people get so distracted with talking in the hallway. We're used to talking in the hallway, and like my mindset is like, I got to be in my moment before I walk in the room, because when they say go, I can't be like fishing for it. So, but that focus starts outside of the room. I mean, you obviously don't want to walk in like I'm the character without giving who you are and greeting the room, but it's the focus outside the room.
Yeah. Did you know any of the other actresses that were outside, for that audition?
No. China was the only actor that I knew, but we didn't go out for the same role. She played my sister. But none of the actors who went out I remember somebody complimenting, I didn't know her, but I remember like a group of girls in the hallway, and they were talking, and somebody complimented something I had on. I was like, this girl just gonna have to understand that when I get out, I'll say hey to her, but not right now. I couldn't do it because it was like one conversation, and I'm a talker, so it's like you get me to talk, it's over.
They're like, Biz, we need you in here.
Yeah, and then I'm thrown off my square. So, but I remember coming out of the room and having a moment with her, like once my audition was over. But no, I didn't know anybody like personally, which is odd, because there would be times where I would go in the rooms and I would see. I knew all the girls. Yeah. But this one I didn't see anybody.
Wow. So then you get that role that you would never have had the opportunity to go out for if Code Black didn't.
If I didn't get let go of Code Black, and you want to know the really crazy part about this, I died on Code Black.
How'd you die?
You ready for this? I died on Halloween night as a superhero. I cannot make this up. I cannot make this up. I die as a superhero saving a little girl. And so I literally died on that show to become Thunder, and it would have never happened had I stayed or had they kept me.
Yeah. So I think that's like a big perspective thing that I really want to highlight is just.
I thank them so much.
Yeah, it's the best. You really can't judge any moment.
You cannot.
You really have to be grateful and understand that life is happening for you. Because otherwise, if you were done and left and you like packed your bags and said, screw this audition, I don't even need this. Yeah. But and I think you hear so many stories of people that were, especially in the acting space, where they were done, and then what's his name that did The Office?
That thing comes and pulls you back.
Yeah. And so that's why you have to love this game and know that it's like maybe you need a break sometimes. It doesn't mean you're a failure. And so I think understanding that this game is tough. I think the entertainment industry is one of the most difficult businesses in the world. Yeah. So you have to love it. You got to put you're working on the craft, so that way when you do get the opportunity, you can thrive on it. You can thrive. Versus not having longevity because you weren't equipped to handle whatever.
That endurance. I had an agent way back in New York. His name is Ben. Hey, Ben. I remember I cried because I auditioned for Mara and Salim when I first moved to LA, like 2011, 2012. And I cried. I got close. Cried. And he was like, I'm going to just say this. If you're going to do this, like you're going to drive yourself crazy if you cry after every audition. Like you got to find a way to like, it was tough advice, but it was good to know. Like you got to like go to the audition. And it took a while to get here, but to throw it away. Because if we can never control it. Somebody's niece is up for it, a producer this, or, you remind me of something. It's so not personal that you got to just like forget about it. And if it comes back, it comes back. If not, I always say I'm always where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and then so Black Lightning, how many seasons did you guys do? You guys ended up doing like
4.
4?
4 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you moved to Atlanta, and I remember if I had the budget, I was going to move into your place.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, I think, I forget what year that was, or
2017.
2017.
2017.
Yeah, I was like,
I was trying to hustle my apartment out, huh?
No, I was just trying to find a place to stay. I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I think I probably the one that brought it up because you wanted to keep you kept it for a minute,
I kept it for the first year because I just was like, LA is my second home, and I wasn't ready to give my apartment up. And then also too, I advise actors, like, don't give up your entire life if you don't have to, just for a season 1.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if it's going to go again. So I could have just been in Atlanta for 7 or 8 months and then had to come back to LA and start all the way over, which would have made no sense.
Plus you had a dope spot there.
I still love that spot. I still love that spot. It was cozy, and shout out to the landlord, Kenny. He's still around. He is like family, and he knew I didn't have all the proper paperwork to get in there, and he was like an angel. I call him an angel, and I remember being at that spot and not being able to pay the rent, and Kenny would come knocking on the door on the 5th, and I'd be like, Kenny, but I just booked a McDonald's commercial. I promise you the money is coming. I just
here's a Big Mac in the meantime.
Look, it's coming, but I don't have it. And he never kicked me out, and he was really good to me, and I still love that spot.
Yeah, that's so cool. So what do you think through the experience of Black Lightning and doing 4 seasons, what do you think the biggest thing you learned from that whole journey, whether business or personal? Or
wow,
because you finally, like, having 4 seasons of a show, most actors never get the opportunity, and you had to do something, and it was a cool show.
It was fun. It was historical. First Black lesbian superhero, first Black superhero family live adaptation on TV. So sometimes I still can't believe that happened. And I know things have happened after that, but nothing is like that first moment. And Black Lightning is that for me. So I'm forever grateful. What did I learn? Black Lightning taught me, I always say it was like, it got me prepared for like the big league, like being on set every day and working. I was number 2 on the show. I played 3 different characters. Endurance, personally, take care of yourself, stay hydrated, rest as best as you can with wonky schedules like that. But building your endurance and remembering when it gets really hard. I remember Salim McKill said this, remembering when it gets really hard and you're super tired and you really want to just like, I don't have any more in the tank. Remember there was a time you would do it for free, and never forget that moment.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget that. And that carried me throughout the show, because being a female lead of a show, how to carry yourself, how to treat other people on set, how important that is. People are looking up to you to set the tone energy-wise. Remember to be gracious and kind to your crew, because they come to work before you and leave after you, and set everything up and make sure you're straight. Realizing it is a collaborative effort, and I can't do this without wardrobe. I can't do it without catering. Like, we all need each other, and just having that level of like, just love and respect for your crew and everybody who's working with you to make it happen. But yeah, Black Lightning got me ready for everything that came after.
Yeah. I can imagine if you're one of the leaders of a set, how that set would be a nice work environment.
Oh,
it would
thank
be like
you.
a cool space. It's a cool space to work, good vibes, but also taking it seriously and putting in the work and everything too.
Yeah, and appreciating everybody to help you to do it. Yeah.
So that's a big shift in your life, is going to Atlanta. Were you able to audition for other projects in between, or what?
Yeah, I was. Like, when on my time off, doing a TV show, sometimes the window is kind of tight before you have to go back again for the next season. And thankfully we have 4. But so after the first season, I didn't have time to do anything because we kind of got right back into it. But then after season 2, I booked my first studio movie, Black and Blue.
Oh, yeah.
Tyrese. With Sony, with Tyrese and Naomi Harris, and with Sony Studios. Did I say Deion Taylor?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, yeah, Deion Taylor, the director.
Did Deion Taylor do that? No,
Deion Taylor. Hey, Deion. So I was able to do that in between season 2 and season 3. So that was life-changing. My first studio movie. I just always try to like just set the goals. Like, okay, if that was the window, if that was the cap, okay, now what's next? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? So that was the next, to do like a studio movie, and I was really grateful that I had time to do it.
Absolutely, yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, that's so. If we're going closer to the end of Black Lightning, and you have this long run of something, and you've now moved your entire life to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then what was next after that? That was...
So after Black Lightning, I did a pilot, The Spook Who Sat by the Door, Lee Daniels and Gerard McMurray. I remember hitting Gerard like, hey, I'm done Black Lightning, because I was like missing opportunities. Not missing them, but seeing some that I would have liked to have done. And I remember hitting Gerard. I hit up all my friends who I knew were directors or producers, like, hey, casting directors, hey, I'm finishing up Black Lightning. Like, I'm free.
You have to do
You
that.
have to let people know, because they forget. And I've been in Atlanta at that point for 4 years.
Yeah.
So you have to let people know that you're still there. There's always a way to continue to network and hustle your way to whatever it is that you want. So I hit Gerard, and he was like, oh, that's funny. I'm working on this pilot with Lee Daniels. And he was like, I got a couple roles that I think would be dope. And I auditioned. I booked that, didn't go. And then from there, I produced A Holiday Chance, my first movie. It's a Christmas movie on Amazon. And then I booked Whitney, and that was...
And that's what I love about the Whitney project is it really was able to show your range as an actor.
Thank you.
Too. And so how was it preparing for something like that, where now you gotta, reinvent who you are in like the time and effort that it takes to do that?
Wow.
Because I think a lot of actors that love the craft, we want to be chameleons and be unrecognizable.
Same. Like, I don't want to look like myself. Like, so many people. When I saw Robyn and I saw myself as Robyn, I was like, who is? I didn't recognize myself.
Yeah. Because I think that's what launches you, and that's why I think even seeing like the other things that have come after that is like, oh, she's the real deal. Because I think even from a CW perspective, a lot of people get lost in that CW world, and then they're just in that for the rest of their career. Yeah,
I always tell people, like, you have to put a cap on whatever level you're at, or you'll stay there. You have to challenge yourself. Yeah. Like, there was a time where I did background work, and I was like, all right, I did this for about a couple weeks. We're not going to stay here. We get it. We got what we need to learn here. And then when I moved on to the soap, it was like, okay, we don't want to do soaps again. Like, we did it. So it's like, you have that conversation with yourself if you choose to. Some people want to, continue to do those things. But for me, it's like always setting the bar and challenging myself for what the next level is. So with Robyn, I love Whitney Houston. Like, I mean, she's my aunt in my head. So when I saw that, and also Casey, our director, was just, again, she just made it such a free space to just be ourselves, and understanding who Robyn was, and also telling this story about Whitney, but from a different perspective that we've never heard before. Yeah. And Robyn was her rider for sure, like true friend, loyal, and I felt like that she deserved for the world to see that and know that about herself. I did my research. I just kind of went down a rabbit hole of all things Whitney, all things Robyn. And I don't know, it was something about her. I knew I was challenging myself, but there was an ease that came with it at the same time. And I do know that it was the help of Naomi Aki. Our chemistry helped make that easier, where we didn't feel like we were acting. It just kind of synced. It's funny, I say this all the time. She's the same sign as Whitney, and I'm the same sign as Robyn, if you're into astrology. Yeah. So we just kind of got the characters and got each other. And that was one that's very, very dear to me.
Yeah, I mean, did you feel like there was a lot of pressure to do it right? Like, because I think also, obviously being super seasoned by then, so you're not necessarily like the set doesn't scare you.
Yeah, but it's a real life person. So it's pressure, right? Yeah. So you just want to. At the same time, I'm not trying to like be her, right? I can only do my impression of what I believe she is by making sure I do my homework and my research. But telling the truth of what I've learned from their friends and family of what their relationship was. And I was just like, just lead with the truth. That's what I try to do with all of my characters. And I think Aaron has taught us that, like, just tell the truth. And you got to kind of throw away. It's like you deal with the pressure for a little bit, but throw it away. 'Cause I got to perform. Like, I can't get too in my head about it. But Casey, the director, she kind of reassured us that we were on the right path, and kind of gave that confidence to just like do what you're doing, be you got it, don't question it. And she said that on day one, and I was just like, okay, I'm good. And I trusted that, and it just all felt good.
Did you guys work on the relationship part of, like, did you guys hang before?
Not for long. Not for long. No, maybe met a time or so before, but it was this instant chemistry that just you can only wish for when you work with other actors. We had that and it just gelled. But no, I think we met maybe a time or two before it was time to start filming. Because by the time I moved there, when I moved there, it was like straight into screen test, hair, makeup. Like I was kind of full throttle with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you have the right team and you're led by the right person and they put all the time in.
It starts at the helm.
Yeah.
It starts at the
It sets
the
a tone
top.
and no wonder it did so well. And man, that's so cool to see. Is it like playing somebody, a real person, and then detaching from that afterwards? Is it like what like the 6 months after wrapping on the biopic?
Wow, I was on a high for a little while with that one. That was a dream. You can even feel like Whitney's energy because there was a lot of people who did her hair, her makeup, like a lot of people on her band, and Naomi even had like a trunk of her like that she used for like her makeup and a makeup chair. Like it was like Whitney's energy there. But what I have learned is helpful after filming any character is to like decompress and kind of let the character go.
Yeah.
And go through like post-filming process that I have. Therapy too, like debriefing from a character, like making sure I'm detaching myself from it. So I found that to be like really helpful.
Really? What is like a therapy set? It's like it's going to a therapist and to work on the detachment of it?
Yeah, and my acting coach is really helpful with this too. Just making sure that we kind of like debrief out of the character and decompress from...
Separate yourself.
You separate yourself because it's trauma.
Thought about that.
Yeah, no, we should have therapists on set to like kind of help us process. It's like, yeah, we kind of do it when we go home at night sometimes, but then you got to go back and do it the next day. So it's like when you're done from the character, like how am I truly letting this go? Like how am I coming back to myself? Because we play these characters for so long, our bodies don't know the difference. It's like I gotta let that shit go.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to keep it. So learning what that process looks like for me.
Yeah, because I think even like you see like the Heath Ledger situation,
Exactly,
and all of that, and we don't see that much of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but when we do, it's like super apparent in that, and
exactly.
super tragic.
So before it gets to that point, like, I think it's very important to have the conversation about us having therapists on set, or including that into the contracts, whether it be on set daily or when we wrap, we're able to go through that debriefing process.
Yeah. Wow, I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
It does seem like once you know the tools are out there and you know that the tools work.
Yeah.
It seems like,
especially when you're playing characters that are like you're dealing with a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Like our bodies don't know.
Yeah.
The difference.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Do you think so? Based on in your life,
yes,
and the relationships that you've had, whether it's like a significant other or relationships with certain people in the industry and all of that. What are some of your relationships in your life that have really either helped or hindered your career path?
Well, I will say you got to have people around you whose energy is aligned with yours.
Yeah.
Because they're going to weigh you down. So you got to make sure that y'all are compatible in that space. And I'm grateful because my friends from like back home, like my teenage friends are here with me in LA. So I got like my real friends here. So I didn't really go through like a deep dive of like industry friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I got like, they're like my sisters. So I didn't really have the need. I'm friends with people, sure. I'm casual. But having the right people around you and who motivate you, like, who can pick you up when you're like, you're not quitting. Like my friend Key was like, get your ass up off the floor. You're not quitting.
Yeah. You're
going to figure it out. And it's like, you need people to see the you in you when you can't see it in yourself. I felt like that was a bar.
Yeah, that was.
That was a bar.
Yeah.
But you need that because if not, then
it's easy to forget it when you're in the.
And also too, like you got to make sure that you with friends where the frequency, because they're gonna bring you down. If you know what I mean, like if they can't motivate you, then I can't have you around me. And then as far as relationships go, as far as being an actor, like romantic relationships, I think it's just being upfront with the people that you're dating and making sure you're dealing with people who are secure and understanding that this is just my job. And yes, I'll be on set with like guys who are going to be my love interest. We even dealt with that in class. So you got to be with somebody who's like super secure, somebody who supports you, who wants to see the best for you, who's secure within themselves. I didn't make relationships a priority when I first got here. Like, it wasn't the priority. So the career was always that for me.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like went that route.
Yeah. But do you think it kind of had to be?
Yeah.
Kind of like
you mean like the career?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people would try to do things with me and, oh, let's go here, let's go there. And I'd be like, I got an audition. Like, I'm trying to get my job. Like, so my mind wasn't even there. And I'm very clear that I got here by this being the main focus, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it seemed like you had that vision since you were a kid. And then as you build this career, not letting anything stand in your way. What do you want people to see through your work?
What do I want people to see through my work? I just want people to like be inspired to know that whatever those visions are that they have about what they want their lives to look like, that is totally possible, because God wouldn't have given you the vision if it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I would say inspired. I want them to see themselves. I want to be so raw and honest and genuine and generous within my work that I'm relatable and I'm telling my truth and sharing parts of my truth and not being afraid to be vulnerable so that other people can see themselves too. Like, I think that's what art is about. Like, when we go see movies and we turn on a TV show, it's like we always find characters that we gravitate to, like me with Felicia Rashad. You know, like you see yourself in these characters, or you see someone that you know and love through these characters, and it makes it real, and it makes it, I don't know, Aaron taught us, like, is it real? Like, you're not being real. I don't believe it. So it's just about being honest and being my authentic self.
Yeah, that's what one of my favorite things
so people get the best
acting.
version of me.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you're, and it's easy to get caught up and not be your real self in a town like this.
Oh my God.
And that's what I think one of my favorite things about acting is how much life you learn by just going through it, and the like becoming an empathetic person through other people's lives as you portray them.
Yeah.
And like with your career, and as we get into Act 3 with like this new role on Rivals, right?
She's a wild girl.
Yeah,
I love her so much.
But the plethora of different roles that you've played. It's not like you're one trick pony. This is what you do, and she just does this.
Thank you.
It's like these different roles, and now this takes place in the 80s.
This takes place mid-80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good year. I mean, 85. So now, as you're preparing to head to the UK for season 2.
Yeah, I can't believe that I'm
doing a period piece.
A period piece. It's like I like part-time living the UK. I like that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Is that wild to think? To like, what is the 4-year-old Nafessa? What does she think about you going to UK?
Thank you for taking us all these places. The little traveler in me, the little adventurer in me is like, oh my God, we get to go here. And I take advantage. Like, when I'm over there, I traveled so much first season. I did Croatia. I did Italy. I did Portugal. We filmed in Spain. So I would say that the 4-year-old is really happy that I walked out that law firm and never looked back, because to get paid for what I love to do, which took some time, it takes time, but also too, to see so much of the world. I always knew there was a chance I'd be working in London, but again, it kind of crept up on me and came a little sooner than what I thought. But I just love seeing the world and traveling and seeing new places and new cultures, and yeah, God blessed me with that with Rivals.
Yeah, and it's because just what it adds to you as a person, which then adds to your art, being able to travel and see the world.
Yeah, exactly. Having that time off too, to live, to give to our characters.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people get caught up in just the hustle and bustle of auditioning and trying to play these roles, but not getting that life experience. So that's one of the great things for me, that I was happy that I didn't, break through in my career in any regard until things didn't start happening until 10 years, because I needed grow up a lot. I needed to see things. And then you
Right.
start actually having something to say
Exactly.
through your lens. And so, but now doing a period piece, is this like, tell me about that. What are some ways that you prepare? Or is there things that you watched, or like, you know, obviously wardrobe and all of that helps as well, but like,
Yeah.
this is a big deal.
Yeah, Rivals is fun. It's fun. And although I was born in the 80s, I wasn't grown, but I remember those visuals of like my mom and my aunts and my grandmom and just like them being women and being just super fly and fashionable, but regal too. And like the era of the red lip where every woman was wearing red lip and red nails. I remember being that little girl and wanting to wear lipstick and red nails and my dad being like, no, you will not. So I get to like, again, like I get to live how I wanted to when I looked up to them in the 80s and the early 90s. And it's just fun. It's based off of a book that is very, very popular in the UK, Jilly Cooper, same title, Rivals. And I get to bring all of like my East Coast like sauce and swag to this character because she's from New York. She's like this producer from New York who gets recruited because she's so great at her job to run this television company. And it is a good time. And like you said, like that culmination of everything that I've done that led to this point of just life and that experience of all those different jobs on set allowed me to step into Cameron a bit easier and more knowledgeable because of the experience. And I was like really excited to see like what's the difference of filming here and filming there, and it's all the same stuff. What do they say when they're turning? I've never heard people, you know, a director or a crew say, we're turning. And I'm like, wait, where are they turning? Like, where are they going? Because we say like, we're rolling I never really heard turning. So it was some of the lingo that I've just learned, you know, and I'm down for learning and just being thrown in. I'm adaptable. So throw me into an environment, like I'll figure it out. And it's like, oh, we're going to the loo. And I'm like, should I be going to the loo? That's the restroom, by the way. Yeah. I didn't know at the time. So just like,
you're like, who's Lou?
Like, do we need to, where are we going? Where's the Lou? Should I come? So just the experience of being like, just kind of placed into a whole new environment, and learning how they do things over there. Although it's like some things are different, it's all the same TV and filmmaking.
Yeah. So what are you excited most for going back there in a couple
I know the game a little bit more. I know the world. I know my environment. I made some friends. Like I was kind of like just blindly going into it. Like I didn't know anybody or anything. So I know how to get around and, you know, figure things out a bit more. And also too, I'm just really excited to get back into season 2, see what the storylines are and dig into this character. It's always easier going into a season 2 because you're just you've lived with it. Like the character is in you. You know, all of the pre-season 1 work, like it's already there. So I can just kind of like go and breathe a little easier into her, and I'm excited. Yeah. Wild, fun girl.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
So, and I know before you tell me that you're getting into producing, obviously the film that you did before, and then now, which I think is a must in this game, because having a lot of what you bring to the table is what it takes to be a producer and to be able to do projects that you really care about and bring like more of your vision and more of your voice to the screen or to different series. So what are some, like, as far as projects, and not the specific projects, but what's some things that you want to tell through your lens as you start producing and writing and all of that? Yeah,
comedy is next. I'm silly and I like to have fun, and I don't feel like the industry has seen that from me yet, like my friends and my family has. But it's time to have fun. Like everything has been pretty much on the dramatic side for the most part. So I'm just ready to kind of like go to work every day, have fun, let loose, physical comedy, like really go there. Yeah.
What are some comedies that you like, or some stuff that like from back in the day that
if I could have been on Martin, oh my
would have killed it.
God, oh my God. Yeah.
I'll probably try to reboot it.
Yeah, we'll say, and I'm first in line. I am first in line.
I'll be okay with the Martin reboot.
Right. So Martin, My Wife and Kids is also like one of my favorite shows, good. Like the physical comedy. Tisha, you see I'm naming shows that Tisha Campbell has been in because she's my favorite. Her and Tashina Arnold. They're the goats of comedy to me. they were just so versatile, right? They didn't care how they looked. They didn't care about the faces they were making. It wasn't about like looking a certain way. They just were so free and raw with it, and that's my inspiration. Again, I want a chameleon. I don't want to ever look the same. I don't want to play the same. I want to do things that people have never seen me do before, challenge myself to do things that I've never showed the world that I can do. I want to have a stand-up special one of these days.
Really?
So, yeah. I'm kind of crazy, and I'm ready to let people in on it. Yeah.
Have you done stand up before? Are you have like a notes on your phone
It
of all this
scares
stuff?
the living shit. Can I curse?
Yeah.
Okay, it scares the living shit out of me. And
You can swear more than that.
okay, cool. Don't get me to going.
Come on.
Don't even get me going.
She starts yelling at me, swearing at me. We put that at the beginning of the episode. They're like, yeah, what is this?
It scares me so much, Mark. It like whatever you have the most anxiety about, like that's what stand-up is for me.
I have so much respect for stand-up comedians.
Me too.
That's why I love that you're talking about it and making time for it versus like you can't be half in, half out with that.
You can't.
You got to go in.
You got to go in.
Take it on the chin.
And take it on the chin. And I've been writing it down. I've been visualizing it. And as I visualize, I'm like, okay, write it down. Because I'm starting to see it. I just think I needed to grow. Like you said, we need to live. We need to learn. We need to heal. We need to grow in order to give these characters our most recent self, right? Our most present self. And yeah, I can't wait to do stand up. I cannot wait. It's starting to become more clear in my head too. Like I'm starting to get out of my way. I think I'm gonna just start going to clubs. I'm gonna start going to clubs and just not telling anybody.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you mentioned that we're talking about this because I was literally just thinking like I need to go. I was thinking of going like to the Improv or the Laugh Factory or just like going somewhere tonight. Literally, This isn't airing right now, right?
We live.
Just going. I literally just was like, I don't know. I might just go see some comedy tonight. And it's funny that we're talking about this. So that's what's next for me. Like, I love drama. I love it, and I'll always love it, and I'm gonna keep doing it. But it's just time to throw some comedy in the mix.
Yeah. I think that I never would have thought that you would be interested in doing stand up. However,
really, why?
I'm not sure. I think,
okay.
But let me follow up with. It makes so much sense.
Does it?
And the reason to me it makes so much sense is because you have a specific voice that is so, you know yourself so well.
Thank you.
And it's like, I think because you know yourself so well, you stepping into the stand-up world, we would get we'd get you, number one.
Okay.
And obviously, and I think where a lot of people need to go into stand-up and find their voice in stand-up, and yes, there is a level of that.
Yeah.
But I think because you're so true to who you are and your voice is so distinct that I think that it just makes sense, and it would be so cool to see it amplified in a comedic way.
Yeah, I'm excited.
But I never.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe it's because I met you as like a serious actor, drama roles, and that's what I love, that each of these levels have all been different.
Thank you. And that's I feel like as artists too, it's like break the idea of what somebody may have. Like no one's gonna see comedy coming from me because they've only seen, the dramatic me.
But it makes so much sense, and I could totally see like you doing stand up and then building that character that eventually is the one that like stars in your own, whatever, whether it's multicam, single cam, whatever.
Yeah,
it makes so much sense.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
I'll let you know if I'm doing like a mock show so you can sit in. Yeah, I think it's just about going for it. If I jumped out of an airplane, skydive, I should be able to get on stage, right? I'll skydive and I won't skydive again, but the thought of skydiving is easier than
Oh, I think absolutely. And that's why I have so much respect for stand-up comedians.
Me too.
It's tough to do, and the people that do it well. Have you been to like Comedy Store? You've been to Laugh Factory before? Yeah, and the ones that do it well, when they just command the stage.
They just command it and they own it, and it's like not about trying to get it right. It's like, I'm here, what's up? Let me see. If it make you laugh, then you're not my crowd. If it does, then hey, come back and see me again. And I've always been into comedy though, like watching Martin and watching Def Comedy Jam growing up and Comic View, like it always just, I've always loved just watching it and, you know, laughing and feeling good and,
Yeah.
you know, people impressions, like is all, I think is the most freeing of it all. And you know, we're kind of cheating. We're on set. We got cameras. We're like, oh, hey, let me get that again. Oh, we're going to do another angle. You got one shot.
Yeah.
One shot.
I love that for you. It makes so much sense.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't give me too much because I ain't.
I look on Instagram tomorrow. Like, wait, Nafessa went up last night? She started telling jokes.
That's funny.
Wow.
Maybe I'll go and when I go to the UK, just you know.
Oh, that UK humor is different. Maybe it'll.
True, but I mean, just to get on stage and feel it.
Yeah,
just to get on stage and feel it.
And it's all about reps. You know, a lot of these people
exactly
doing like 3 shows a night, just get however much room.
And they go practice their material. Like Kevin Hart still goes like to you know, some of the comedy places, and he'll run his material before he takes it on stage.
You have to. Yeah, and
you have to.
You know, you get to a certain point where you're so big that maybe wherever you go. That's what I heard a comedian talk about yesterday. He was going to Austin, which Austin is a huge, you know, place now that Joe Rogan went there.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he's like, I'm too famous in Austin, so I can't even try my new material there because I have to go work it somewhere else, because if I go there, they love everything.
Exactly.
And so you got to go somewhere.
Make yourself uncomfortable. Like impress some new people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I always say like stand-up comedians are superheroes. So that's very in line with.
Oh Lord! And like my stomach and my heart drops even when I talk about it. But that's how I know I gotta like get my ass up there to do it. It's scary.
Another accomplishment.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Wow. Well, this Act 3 it's going well so far.
I'm grateful.
What's the so if we have comedy and we have, you know, producing and writing and all of this stuff, and as you're going to do season 2 of Rivals, what is there more that you want to do in your future? What's, you know, whether it's acting or not acting, is like.
Yeah, I would say there's
Why Fear, obviously. We didn't touch too much on that, but
yeah, definitely, you know, continuing as a businesswoman, acting, nothing makes me more excited than acting. I stop, drop, and roll when I get the call and I lock in. So I'll always do that, and it'll always be my thing, and it'll probably always be my first thing because that's what it's been, and I love it that way. But being a businesswoman too, like having Why Fear, also too wanting to get more into real estate. Like I want to own, like I got some big dreams. I want to own like a chain of hotels.
Yeah.
Also some more real estate outside of that. Also too, like having my nonprofit and making sure that I don't keep all of this to myself, and making sure that I'm giving back and inspiring people. Also, like the motivational speaker in me, like that always excites me too. So more of that. And then too, I think the next phase of life for me is having babies and like raising a family and like switching the priority over to that. But for now, it's all about season 2 for Cameron Cook.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see more of everything that you're doing. And you're always pushing the envelope.
Thank you.
That's what makes a life worth living. Because the more we can be uncomfortable, the more glass ceilings we can break through. And
amen.
You specialize in that.
Oh, Marky.
All right, well.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And I'm proud of you. Like, look at where we've come from that picture to today.
Yeah.
And all the life that we had to live so that we can be able to give to today. I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I feel like we're just getting started, though, at the same time.
We are. We're just scratching the surface. We're still babies.
Yeah.